Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. We're going to talk about DeepSeek right now, okay? Because I'm afraid that people are going to start jumping out of buildings, they're going to start selling all their stocks, they're just losing their minds, right? And so I'm here to slow you down for a second to really give you a quick and simple understanding of what's going on. So if you've been on another planet, you may not have heard that DeepSeek is out and it's supposed to be the competitor against ChatGPT. So what does that have to do with the stock market? Well, ChatGPT is a representation of the large systems that's out there. There's large language models, AI, you've heard the terms. And these systems were supposed to cost a lot of money to run, right? So they were supposed to cost data centers, which is millions and millions and millions of dollars into the billions, and then electricity from those data centers, and then hardware, software, and mainly it was supposed to be very expensive on the chipset. So the chipset that most of them are running on is the Nvidia chipset, their graphics cards. And that's where the whole backstory is right now. And so because DeepSeek comes out, what you have is a system. DeepSeek says that it can do that same thing that ChatGPT and all those large language models that cost a lot of money on those large expensive systems that was exclusive to those who were lucky enough to have access to it. What DeepSeek says is that I can do it for a fraction of the price and I am a better model. Now, what that means is I don't need your Nvidia chips, I don't need your data centers, I don't need all the electrical costs. And for the average Joe Schmo, small business, small person in their home, I can literally run it on their computer locally. Now, that's a huge thing, a huge statement. But I'm going to tell you why it's not a crazy statement. I'm going to tell you why it's not, oh, wow, we didn't expect this coming. Anyone in the industry, anyone who's into coding, who's been running their own models and stuff like that at home for a while, we know the process here. We know it's capable. You're capable of doing this, and I'll tell you why we know that. But first, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. And the reason why we know that anyone in the industry knows that you can do this, and this is the way the industry is going, is because of something called knowledge distillation. So knowledge distillation is a process in which you have a larger model, right? So you have a larger model, and that larger model teaches a smaller model. There's a Wikipedia post here. I'm not going to go through the whole mathematics of it, and I'm not going to necessarily go through the whole article here, but I'm just going to give you the overview of it. Basically, you're taking a larger model like ChatGPT, and you are distilling, in a way, its knowledge base to something more simplified. And you give it to the smaller model. Now, here's the trick. The larger model, because it has the experience of all this data, it teaches the smaller model how to do it more effectively. So it gets rid of all the redundancies, all the errors that it discovered, all that stuff, and it brings it down. I think you can think of it like this. You can get vitamin C out of an orange, or you can buy a pill that they've taken out all the liquid and they've given you the actual vitamin C as let's say like a powder or a pill, right? So instead of having a large glass of water, you got rid of the water and all you have is the vitamin C. And that's basically what this knowledge distillation is. And this is what actually, I believe, DeepSeek actually is. And because I believe that that's what it is, you'll have to understand that I am not shocked that this is the case, because it's in their terms of service in ChatGPT that you're able to do that. I think they tell you not to do it, but everyone knows that this is a way to teach smaller machines to be able to do it. So now that you sort of understand that, right? So you'll understand why people ran out, probably that second, went to Nvidia, and they started selling their stocks like crazy. In my opinion, I don't believe that's what happened, you see. I believe what happened was that people from Nvidia started selling their stocks. And I think they wanted those stocks to go down. You know why? Because people like me, I already know, I'm going to buy Nvidia stock. So go ahead. Okay, maybe you want to sell your stock. Maybe you don't want to believe me on this one. Go ahead and sell your stocks. In fact, I was actually thinking about telling you not to sell your stocks, but if you want to sell your Nvidia stocks, go ahead. Make it cheaper for me to buy. So the further those stocks go down, I'm going to buy more Nvidia. Here's why. There's no way you're going to tell me that you really think Nvidia is going to go down. There's no way you're going to tell me all those people selling their stocks, they really think Nvidia is going to go down. Nvidia is not just a software company. It's hardware, right? So that hardware doesn't just disappear. It doesn't just move out into the ether because an AI, DeepSeek, came out, right? And when you look at this, you have to understand that people don't use AI that way. People don't use AI in the way of using a car, right? So when you want a car, you go out and you buy a car. When you want AI, that's not how you do AI. Most people use AI because AI comes to them. In order for AI to get to humans, it came through the browser. It went through the phone. It goes into their games. AI comes to the user. So even if you have an AI system that is so cheap and easy to use, you're still going to need someone to build the system for the average Joe. I'm not talking about some clown like me or somebody else who knows how to do computers and stuff. Yeah, they'll have that little system at home, but this will be an opening for smaller business to create their own product, maybe using Arduino or something like that, or Raspberry Pi, to create small systems that they can then sell with AI on there. Don't be fooled here, because if you think about what I'm saying, you'll go ahead and look at this here. Nvidia announced their $3,000 personal AI computer. So DeepSeek comes out, and you really think that this is open source, anyone can use. Nvidia is not going to take that DeepSeek and put it here on Nvidia. They're not going to lower that price from $3,000 to maybe $1,000, and maybe even less than $800. You're telling me that you think Nvidia is not going to do that. This is the natural order of things. You see, don't get it twisted. These companies are not battling each other. Nvidia is not battling AI. ChatGPT is not battling DeepSeek. They're all working together, because here's how the AI world has to exist in the future, in my opinion. It has to exist in threefold. Number one, the hardware has to get cheaper. Think about the first computer. Could you imagine having the first major computer, not the first computer, because we have to go further back to the Turing machine, that kind of thing. Okay. But let's talk about the computer we all know, right? The computer that was a size of a building. Remember that computer? That computer, imagine being today that exact same size. It wouldn't make any sense to you, right? So let's look at that. All right. Hey, I'm going to buy you guys a computer. Here's the computer I'm going to get you. It was the first computer in ENIAC, right? The size of 1,800 square feet. That was the computer, 1946, 1943, and 1946. Would you then therefore say, oh, wow, we're going to have a bunch of buildings in order for all these computers to exist? And it's the same thing I told you about the horse and buggy, right? So no, AI is going to get smaller. It's going to get more efficient, and it's going to become more affordable. It's going to be so affordable, in fact, it's going to be in your glasses, locally in your glasses, locally in your phone, locally in your camera, locally on an app. Each app might even have its own AI. Who knows? My point is, that's how it's going to be. That's how it's always going to be, because that's the progression of most technology. So when people sell their Nvidia stock, I don't believe, number one, that those are real people selling their stocks just because they're afraid. I believe somebody wants the market to go down, and I'm not going to be fooled. If you keep bringing that Nvidia stock down, I'm going to grab me some Nvidia stock, number one, because obviously, as I'm showing you right now, that you have the hardware. Nvidia, all they have to do is create a small AI device, and now they can just put DeepSeek on there because DeepSeek is open source, right? So it's not like they can't use DeepSeek. And this knowledge distillation tells you everything you need to know. It tells you that obviously there's going to be somebody making these systems smaller and smaller and much more efficient, because it's going to learn off its previous self. And finally, we need to understand that AI in the future, in my opinion, is going to have these small systems, but it's also going to have the big systems. Think about it like a website. A website exists on a server. You're going to have, and even if you don't want this, it's coming. You're going to have a hive mind of AIs. So these smaller AIs controlled by a larger AI. So you're still going to need the data centers. You're not just going to eradicate the data centers. You're still not going to eradicate the need for electricity, the electrical needs, the energy needs. You're still not going to eradicate the idea of Nvidia being used. Nvidia is just going to alter its system to do both. It's going to do small and it's going to do large, because we're going to need the large to manage the small. That's the future. That's how everything's going to go. Just like your network, right? Your computer here, my computer. We hook up to our ISP, our internet service provider. Our internet service provider connects us to the world. That's how everything's going to be. So if I were you, yeah, sell your Nvidia stock. Hook me up. I can't wait till you sell your Nvidia stock, because I'm be watching, and as soon as that Nvidia stock goes down, I'm buying. Truthfully, don't sell your Nvidia stock. But if it's gone down, I would say buy more, because Nvidia is not going anywhere. And don't keep running after the newest thing. Don't run after DeepSeek. Don't run. There's something else that's going to come up. Don't keep running after the new thing in AI, because AI is constantly evolving to become part of the synergetic system that's already there between the hardware, between the AI distillation, and between the whole idea of having larger and smaller systems and being accessible to everyone, while at the same time being managed by larger hive mind systems that's already in place. So what am I saying? I'm saying this whole thing is like a caterpillar, right? So caterpillar goes to this metamorphosis and it becomes a butterfly. That's exactly what's happening. They're not competing. They're going through a metamorphosis. And if you think they're competing, you're going to go out selling your stock, jumping from one thing to the next. If you're greedy and you're really trying to get to that next Bitcoin, you're really trying to get to that next AI, you're making a mistake, because it's not going to be any of those things separately. It's going to be those things together, and all those things together is going to come out as a butterfly. It's going to come out from a seed to a flower. So if you look at a seed and you try to imagine what kind of flower it's going to be without knowing anything about the seed, you're going to be making a grave mistake, because you're going to be investing in the seed when actually it's going to be a flower. Okay? You're going to be investing in a caterpillar when actually it's going to be a butterfly and it's going to fly away. So digital currency, hardware is going to be there, always will be. It's not going to disappear. They're just going to make smaller chips, and then you can put AI on there. They're also going to use DeepSeek or whatever they use. And knowledge distillation, you got to remember about that. And also, don't panic in the market. And finally, if you're investing, don't invest the money you need into this market, because there's going through a metamorphosis. You want to invest in certain things that you know are going to be there, like an Nvidia, right? So that's my advice to everybody. And that's giving you some understanding of what's going on. And hopefully you'll understand the dichotomy between looking at Nvidia like a software company and looking at Nvidia like a hardware company. You have to understand Nvidia is both. So hopefully this was helpful to you guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. And I will see you later.